Hey you guys, it's Peter and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost! Oh my god. I'm so Census YouTube famous. So, you guys, this is literally, let me scratch my nose. This is what I think of the Census Bureau. Okay, this is my most requested video, rant video, and everything on my channel, you guys, okay? And people always ask me, like, what has happened with the Census lady? What's the follow-up with the Census lady? And I'm like, there is no follow-up. So I can't make a video if there's no follow-up. I'm not just gonna get on video and just like, I know there are a lot of YouTubers out there that make up story times. I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. Like, so in case something, unless something happens, I'm not gonna come on here and do it, right? Okay. So, today's your lucky day because there has been advancements in the Census lady's story. Now, if you don't know, what you don't know is a lot. Let me go back for you, okay? In 2018, the Census lady contacted me, okay? And we came up with the name Census Sally. I came up with the name because it's a different name, but I didn't want to, like, you know, out her and things like that. So anyway, she contacted me about doing this census. Now, this is not the U.S. census that everybody has to do in 2020, okay? This is like, it's called a census interview, and it's about specialized things in your area. I'm sitting at a church because you guys think I'm not. I'm sitting at a church because I need Jesus in my life. Okay, by the way, my husband, he just got home, so I feel safe to go home now. You'll find out. I ran away from home tonight. You'll find out why in just a second. But he, you know, like on my Q&A that I did with my husband the other day, and we talked about how, like, when he's somewhere, like, he gets noticed more than I do, and then he'll, like, FaceTime me. Well, he was just at Ruth Chris having a glass of wine with his mom, and Melissa was there. Not my good Judy Melissa, but sweet Melissa. And so he FaceTimed me, and she was like, oh my god, I love you so much, Peter. I want to be one of your good Judies. Oh my god, Melissa, I want to be one of your good Judies too. So anyway, it was her birthday on the 25th. Happy birthday, Melissa. So that was really cute. My husband FaceTimed me. So anyway, all right. So if you don't know what you don't know is a lot. In 2018, in September, 2 years ago, okay, because the census specific interviews happen every 6 months. September and I guess like April or whatever, okay? What is September? I don't even know. September, October, November, December, January, February. It should have been February. It's usually like April and September or something like that. I don't know. So anyway, March. I don't know what it is. But anyway, so she reached out to me and she wanted to do this interview, and I like put it off and put it off and put it off, and she's like, it won't take long, and she kept on saying it'll leave us time to chat. That's all she wanted to do was chat, okay? You guys, this got so bad that she was like showing up at my door. She was like looking through my kitchen windows. People didn't believe it, but she did. And then one time she like parked behind her driveway. Alex like he was trying to get out or trying to get in, and I think he was trying to get in, and he was real frustrated with it, and he just like, well, I had to deal with it because she's like, I just tried to get this. She was like so upset about the whole thing. And then I thought, shut up, I'm trying to do a rant video. I'm literally like shaking, you guys. Okay, so I did the survey with her. Should it take 20 minutes? It took like forever, okay? And then she wanted to chat with me about my life and all this kind of stuff. Then the second time I was contacted, it wasn't by Census Sally, or we got this guy. I ended up calling him Census Warren, right? And I just looked, and he literally like, the second time I said I'm busy, he just like, he just kind of like, he kind of pushed it that day, but then he was just kind of done with it, right? I just looked at the text messages. So then, people are so loud. So then I got contacted by her in April of this year, okay? And she called, she didn't text. She like, well, I think she texted like twice, and then she like called like 6 or 7 times. And it just was like, I didn't know if it was like the national census that everybody has to do, but then she said on one of the messages that was the crime victimization thing, okay, or whatever, about crime in her neighborhood. Now, just so you know, I live in I always joke and say it's a retirement community, but it's not. I mean, it might be where people come to find their final home. I'm just saying, okay? But like, it's an older community. There's not a lot of crime. And the questions are like this, okay? So the questions are like, in the last 6 months, how much vandalism have you experienced? And I'm always like, none, right? And she's like, okay, well, hold on a second. She'll just give you all the answers. So she's like, never, once a week, once a month. And then you go through it and you go, never. And then she goes, did you report any vandalism in the last 6 months? No. And then she wants to chat in between it. This sort of thing is the chat, right? Okay. So I was so worn out in April, but I knew that like being resistant and fighting this thing just made it go on longer. So I was like, okay. So I told her I would do it with her, right? And then silence. I didn't hear from her. And people were like, well, what happened? Because I made this video about it. I'm like, nothing happened. I didn't hear from her. She didn't call me back. I wasn't going to continue to call her to do this thing. I didn't want to do it, right? I mean, trust. Oh my God, this thing is like, it's so anyway. So I didn't hear from her. I don't know if it was the COVID. I don't know why, okay? So today, I do my review at Starbucks. I got my pumpkin, what do you call it? Cream. It's melted now. Cold brew or whatever. And then I was reviewing my muffin, not my muffin top. That's another story. We'll review that some other time. I was reviewing my pumpkin cream cheese muffin from Starbucks, right? And so I just like turned off the camera and everything, and I looked down and I was like, oh, I have a text message. So I look at it. It's from Census Sally, okay? Are you ready? I don't think you're quite ready for all this. Hi, Peter. This is so-and-so, her real name, Census Sally, from the Census Bureau. I'm not sure if you remember me. And this is like literally what she said the last time to me, okay? I don't know how she thinks I could ever forget her, right? She was literally in my yard crying her eyes out. I'm not sure if you remember me, but we worked together a few years ago, and after having a hard time connecting, we had a very nice chat, she says. It's time again for the Census Bureau interview. I'll be in your neighborhood every afternoon this week, so please inform me which day works best. So I'm like, I kind of don't really know what to respond and what to say, right? So I don't say anything. Literally like 5 minutes later, she says, I just saw your number pop up on my phone with a message saying 5 p.m. today. Is that correct? I'll be heading that way nonetheless, and we'll stop by hoping we can complete the interview. I forgot my reading glasses. Hoping we can complete the interview and have some time for chit chat. And I'm like, oh my God, here we go again, right? But I'm like, this phone number popping up thing, I'm like, I feel like that happened before, right? So I like go back to the messages and I'm like, I want to see what she said the original time, right? Okay, so the very first time she ever contacted me, she did the same thing to me. She said her name and that she was from the U.S. Census. Is this Peter Monn? Okay, and then she said, did you just text me saying at 4 p.m.? A message saying that just now popped up on my phone and disappeared. Okay, what a liar she is, right? So she's trying the same tactic that she tried 2 years ago. And listen, okay? FBI, CIA, KGB, Census Bureau. I got her figured out. I got her figured out, right? So I respond after she says, I just saw your number pop up on my phone with a message saying 5 p.m. today. She's a liar, straight from the pit of hell. So I said, I did not call you. I won't be home any afternoon this week. Also, I tried to complete the interview in April, but you never called me back, ? Okay. So she responds. Now this text message, you guys, is like fast, okay? She says, I just looked at my records and you are correct. I did contact you in April. I'm not sure why we weren't able to complete the interview at that time. But 5 today would be great and will leave us time to chat, okay? So she's going back to this 5 o'clock call that I never texted her. I never texted her. I never said I would do 5 o'clock today. She's a liar. I just looked at my records and you are correct. Yes, I know I'm correct, okay? Video proof. So I respond to her and I said, like I said, I did not call you. Chopped, okay? Also, I won't be home this afternoon. I won't be home any afternoon this week. Okay. Are you ready? My crazy phone. So she's blaming it on her phone. Then she says, must be another neighbor in your neighborhood. My number popping up, right? I'm like, what? So is it your phone or is it another neighbor in my neighborhood? I could just wait until you'll be home today. I'm like, oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Oh no. And then I'm like, okay, I need my husband to get home now. Like, I cannot deal with this. But he's having a glass of wine with his mother. So I'm like, I'm just gonna have to drive around and listen to audiobooks, right? But maybe she won't stop by. Okay. So I texted her back and I said, I won't be home today. I'm very busy. This is in response to my crazy phone. Must be another neighbor in your... Okay. So she said... I cannot believe that this is real, you guys. Like, I cannot believe that this is my life. Okay. So she says, I don't mean to be a bother, but I must, in all caps, complete this interview. I'm sorry to bother you. I remember you saying, who is walking over here? No, no. Is it her? Oh my Lord, is she walking now in my neighborhood? Okay. I don't mean to be a bother, but I must complete this interview. I'm sorry to bother you. I remember you saying how busy you are and that you make videos on Facebook. I'm like, what is she talking about? Well, first of all, I don't ever remember saying anything to her about making videos. I looked back through the text. I never said anything to her about making videos. And I'm like, has she seen my videos? Did somebody post my census video on Facebook and she saw it or something like that? I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So she says, I remember you saying how busy you are and that you make videos on Facebook. Maybe after our interview, we could have time to chat about how exciting that is and how you come up with ideas. I've always thought it would be fun to make videos and maybe you could share some of your funniest ideas with me. Oh my God, she is my funniest idea. She doesn't even know it. Oh my God, she doesn't even know it, okay? And I don't know where she comes up with the Facebook. Why she thinks I'm on the Facebook. Okay, that's what like cracks me up the most, right? So then I respond to her and I said, I'm very busy all this week. I mean, what do you say? I don't know what else to say to her. It's kind of sad, really. You know what I mean? Oh my God. And she responds and she said, you guys, it just goes on and on and on. She goes, oh, okay. Would Saturday or Sunday work? That might even give us more time to chat after the interview about your videos on Facebook. I'm like, what is she talking about? Does she know about my videos that I talked about her? Like at this point, I'm like, what do I say if she like contacts me and wants to know about these videos? I'm like, girl, I don't know what to tell you. That's what happened. I'm sorry, you know, okay, my life's a memoir. The life at times with Census Bureau, the victim. Okay. Wait, where is it? Okay, what would Saturday or Sunday work? That might even give us more okay. To chat about the videos. I said, I'm very busy. Could we do this by phone? Also, how do I get picked every year for the same census? Because it's literally, you guys, the same questions every year, okay? My God, my throat hurts from laughing. Okay. So I said, I'm very busy. Can we do this by phone? How do I get picked every year for the same census? And she responds and says, we could most definitely do the interview by phone, even while you're out shopping. And I'm like, I think she said that to me like a couple years ago. And I looked and she did. She said the exact same thing. She was like, well, even if you're out shopping, we could talk on the phone or something like that. We could most definitely do the interview by phone, even while you're out shopping, which would leave us lots of time to chat. The census is random. You're one of the lucky ones. Okay, let me just tell you what is so crazy about this. So there was like foreshadowing that happened before I even did this video today. Because my neighbor next door, who is like the nicest guy in the entire world, so he's retired and he's like looking for something to do, right? And so he told me one day, he was like, I'm thinking about being a census worker. And I like lost it, of course, right? Because of my videos. And he's like, what's so funny? And so I told him the whole experience with her, right? Okay. So he's kind of kept me updated. He's like doing it. He's like doing these trainings and stuff. So today, here's the story. Okay, my neighbors across the street are moving in. There's been a huge truck out back. So they had to move so that I could get out. So I was afraid if I got back in, I would be trapped. And if she stopped by, I would be trapped because that huge truck would be there and all these other people coming in and out of their house moving it. Our street is so narrow that I couldn't get out. And then she would just be there. And then I would be like, I wouldn't know what to do, right? So anyway, I'm like, so I'm talking to him today, and I'm like, so he's like, so I hadn't gotten any of the texts from her, right? And I'm like, so what's new and whatever, because he was like picking up leaves in the yard and stuff. And he was like, yeah, he was like, I'm doing the training for the census thing. And I said, well, how's it going? He goes, well, we're told, and he's real funny. And he's like, we're told not to stalk anybody or look in their kitchen windows. And I go, well, that's probably a good idea. And as I was driving over to Starbucks, I had the weirdest feeling. I was like, okay, I'm gonna hear from her. I just had this weird feeling because he and I were talking about it, right? Okay. So instead, on top of not being able to get out of my house, being trapped at my house, being worried that I was gonna be trapped at my house, let me tell you how this further goes on. Okay. She says we can most definitely do it by phone, blah, 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 whatever. So I'm like, okay, easy breezy, cover girl. I'm gonna do this interview by phone. It will just be real nice, and I'll leave her a couple minutes for chit chat, and then because I feel bad for her. I feel like she's just real lonely or something, you know what I mean? Like I do. She always is talking about this chit chat, right? So I say to her back, after she says it's random and I'm the lucky one. I'm the lucky one in the neighborhood, apparently. I said, pick any day next week and I'll make time for the call, but I don't have time for chatting. Okay. So she responds and she says, sounds good. Here are the times I have available, and she gives me a couple times, right? And then she says, I will just cruise to your neighborhood tonight since it is such a beautiful evening for a drive. And I am like, are you kidding me? Are you effing kidding me? Like, I can't even go home, okay? And this truck, like, once I get in, they, like, move, and then I get in, and then they move back, so I can't get out. Do you understand? So I was waiting for Alex to get home, because I'm like, he has to deal with it this time. So he's home now, I think. So he could deal with it this time, because he told me. Anyway, so I texted her back and I said, I won't be home. I'll let you know which day works best. And she didn't respond. So I'm like, oh my God, like, is she out driving around trying to find me? Like, I'm scared. You know what I mean? I don't want to be home when she comes. I don't. This woman is the most insistent person I have ever met in my entire life. And the thing that's so sad about it is that it's like, okay, like when I get kind of resistant to it, I'm like, I don't want to do it. Then she gets kind of like, I have to do it, I have to do it. Like the day that she was in our yard, like I felt so bad for her. You guys, like this was literally a scene out of a movie. Okay, she's like standing in our yard and she's like, I have to. It was so sad, you guys. I was just like, okay, let's do it. But then my neighbor also told me that this is what they tell you to do. That they tell you to be like real insistent like this because people won't do it if you're not. Isn't that horrible? I said, like, 5th level of hell, straight up 5th level of hell right here. So, we're supposed to do it sometime next week. If it goes well, I will let you know in one of my follow-up. I hope to God I don't have to do a whole rant video about it. I'm literally like shaking, you guys, because it's got me so worked up today. I just was like, I just wanted to go home and like, you know, do stuff. And I was like so worried that like I'd be in the middle of something and she'd knock on my door. Anyway, if this has ever happened to you, let me know in the comment section below. I love you guys and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.